Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness. So, I know this probably won't get a lot of views because it involves God and Christ and all that stuff, but they're always good movies. So, I used to watch these a long time before I started filming myself talking about movies. So I'm going to get back into it, and this is the third installment of the God is Not Dead series. First one was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. The second one was, okay. We're going to see what the third one's like. I can tell you already, I even just saw a picture of him. David A.R. White. I'd like to meet this guy someday. This is all he does. He films these kinds of movies, directs, produces, the whole 9 yards. And that's pretty cool. I like that. I'd like to meet him if I ever get the chance. He's in a lot of other ones too. Just not the God's Not Dead series, but any kind of faith-based movie, he's in it. So if you happen to see my review, I'd love to meet you sometime. But anyway, this is about Pastor Dave, who is David A.R. White, I believe, responds to the unimaginable tragedy of having his church, located on the grounds of the local university burned down. So, you know, there's a lot more into it than that. John Corbett is in it as well. Northern Exposure. Ooh, yes. I'm dating myself on that one. Good old TV show. I liked him from that. He's in a lot of other things too, but that's when I seen him. I think he was also in Misery, Alaska. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. But Ted McGinley is in this too. There's a lot of cool people in this. Anyway, I'll get into it. IMDb has it at a 3.6. They don't rate these movies very high because, you know, it has to deal with God and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to get into it a little bit. If you've already turned me on a little bit, sorry about that. If you've already started watching me, you might be a little bit interested to see what this is about. So I'll get into it a little bit, and I'll give you a better idea of what the plot is about, and I'll tell you what's going on. So stick around. Hey everybody. We're doing a quick check-in here. I almost forgot what we were going to do. God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness. We're at the 44-minute and 41-second mark, and a lot of interesting stuff has happened. I mean, if you've checked me out so far, you're interested in this kind of stuff. And it is a faith-based movie. Maybe you've seen one, maybe you've seen two. This is the third installment. And it's interesting because his name is Shane Harper. He was in the first one. And I thought that was the most interesting one. That's where he challenges the professor, and that's where it all comes about him proving that God exists. And that was an interesting movie, I thought, a lot. The second one, again, not so much. But anyway, we're into the third one. You know, and what basically happens so far is David A.R. White is a pastor of this church that happens to be on a university, on the grounds of the university. And I don't know, he gets arrested for not turning over his scriptures or something like that. I don't know. And it becomes a piece of, people starting to protest against the church being on a university grounds. Whatever. I don't know why yet. That didn't make a lot of sense now that I think about it, not until I said it out loud. But anyway, so he's doing that, and they really want the church off of the university grounds. Meanwhile, a girlfriend and a boyfriend are starting to have troubles in their relationship, and they talk about God a lot, and they're not sure. She's not sure if she believes, and he's not sure. Whatever. They break up. Whatever. And so he's walking by a church, and he throws a brick through the window, and it blows up the church, or sets it on fire. Meanwhile, there was somebody who was killed during this time. So the church is on fire, and they want to use this opportunity to erase the church from the university grounds and replace it with something else. In comes John Corbett, who is David A.R. White's brother. For many, many years, he wants to bring him in to try and fight this whole thing, which is alright, cool and all. But here is David A.R. White as a pastor of the church, and he hasn't seen his brother in years. He said he had a double bypass like 6 years ago, and he doesn't know that. Like, I don't know. I think if you're that much into faith, religion, you would be that much into family, and you wouldn't be so disconnected from your brother. One hole, I think, in this whole thing, you know. But anyway, he's back to help him with the fight. So that's what's going on now. They're trying to fight and save the church, is really what it's about. It's not so much God's not dead kind of theory, which was in the first one, like prove God is alive kind of thing. But, you know, it's like save the church. Literally. In this one. But Ted McGinley, who, if you haven't heard of him before, he's from Revenge of the Nerds. And I looked him up to see what else he was in. And he's in a lot of these kind of faith-based movies. I didn't realize that. So, good for him. You know, he went from Revenge of the Nerds to a lot of different things. But he appears in a lot of faith-based movies. So, anyway, I'm going to get back into it a little bit more. I want to check in real quick and catch you up on what's going on here. Probably see you at the credits, unless something very interesting happens. But we know the church has been vandalized. It blew up. Somebody's responsible for it. Might have killed somebody because of what they did and their foolish actions. We're not sure what's going to happen to that guy. And John Corbett is in to save the day and save the church. So we'll check it out a little bit more, and I'll be back in a little while. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness, the third installment of the God's Not Dead series. Sorry about that, series. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I think my problem with it is the fact that, you know, it's just like any other faith-based movie. There's struggles, there's people who don't believe in God, and there's trying to get them to believe in God, that kind of thing. And, you know, it's not, it doesn't really hold true to the God's Not Dead series. So if you've watched them before and you're checking this out, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that honor to it. The God's Not Dead, the original movie, was really cool in the fact that a professor challenged his students to prove that God exists. And one student stood up and he accepted that challenge, and that was the whole movie, and that was, you know, everything that came along with that. It's about that entire movie and how he tried to prove that, and the professor, all that kind of stuff. That was very interesting. The second one, again, was very similar from what I remember to this. Again, another faith-based movie. You know, which there's nothing wrong with a faith-based movie. I enjoy them. I always think there's a good message in them. A lot we can learn from them, whether you believe in God or not, if you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's all about being good to others, and that's what's in a lot of these films, and that's what was in this film. Again, David A.R. White fighting for his church, and that's what it's about. I come back to the fact that they're brothers, so he gets John Corbett to come help him as a lawyer, and they haven't seen each other in how many years. In fact, there's another scene that I forgot to tell. Well, no, it happened after we talked the last time. Was that he's like, oh, he's like, you've had 2 wives. He's like, no, I had 3. Doesn't even know he's been divorced 3 times. So that's kind of disappointing, and you understand the fallout between him and his family and why that happened. But if you're a pastor of a church, you would think that you might reconcile your relationship with your brother and not just call him when you need him. So, area of opportunity for me in this film. And the other piece too was how angry the pastor became. So we understand that he's losing his church, and the guy threw a brick through his window, but he goes off the handle. And I guess that's maybe showing a human side of somebody who's the head of the church, and I guess that can happen, but you know, you want them to hold it together, and so that you can look up to a guy who's leading a church and leading a congregation. You know, a couple of holes there, whatever. But that's really all I got. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it. Where would I rank it? What number would I give it? I would probably give it a 7 if I could. I don't think, because of what I said, it's worth enough to give it an 8, because it doesn't follow the true plot line of God's Not Dead. I mean, I guess it kind of proves that good things can still happen because God's alive, but it doesn't hold true to the original series. But I do think it was good. I like David A.R. White. I think he's fantastic. I like him a lot. I like Ted McKinley from Revenge of the Nerds, and I'm happy to see him doing things like that. And the girl in it was from How I Met Your Mother. I forget her name. I'm not going to look it up and waste your time. And the original guy, the guy from the original God's Not Dead, was in this too. So anyway, I've rambled on enough. Hopefully I've given you enough information. If you've watched the first two, you're obviously watching this to find out how the third one was. Worth watching. Okay? That's what I'll give you. Worth watching, but don't go into it expecting you to see the same kind of stuff that was in the first one. IMDb only gives it a 3.5. I'm sure there's a lot of controversy. You know, I think watch the film for what it's worth. Don't worry about the controversy, or not controversy, but you know, I mean, there's people with beliefs. Whatever. I'm rambling on. I apologize. You could turn me off now after you hit the like button right down there somewhere, and subscribe to my channel, and keep coming back for more awesome reviews like this. And thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.